In this video, we are going to learn how to simplify square roots using the factor tree method. First, let's briefly review what does it mean to simplify a square root. And first, I just want to discuss, sometimes when we take the square root of a number, for example 49, it creates a whole number. The square root of 49 is 7. Or the square root of 25 equals 5. But sometimes when we do the square root of a number, like the square root of 150, it ends up being a very large decimal, like 12.247444871. However, we don't usually write out the whole decimal. We would round this decimal, and we would simply say 12.25 instead. But when we have decimals and we round them, it's not very accurate. So when we discuss what does it mean to simplify a square root, we are talking about how can I simplify without using decimals. So instead of using a decimal, the square root of 150 would become 5 square roots of 6. And in today's video, we are going to learn how to simplify to create 5 square roots of 6 instead of using decimals. And we're going to do this through the factor tree method. So for example number 1, the square root of 75. The first thing we need to do is create a factor tree. Now, I like to use division to help me create a factor tree. If I take 75 divided by 3, I would get 25. Now I'm going to take each of these numbers and try to break them up. Well, 3 could really only be broken up into 3 and 1, which means it's a prime number. So I'm just going to leave it as 3. However, if I think of 25, I could separate 25 into 5 and 5. And if I tried, a 5 can only break up into 5 and 1. So I'm just going to leave it as a 5. So these three numbers, 3, 5, and 5, create our factor tree for 75. So instead of writing the square root of 75, I am now going to write the square root of 3 times 5 times 5 from these three numbers here. Now what I'm looking for is two numbers that are the same. So here, 5 and 5, those two numbers are the same. So what we are going to do is we are going to cross them out and move them to the front. But when I move them, I'm only going to make 1. And then this will be my final answer, 5 square roots of 3. Let's try another question. 98. If I go 98 divided by 2, I will get 49. 2 cannot be split anymore, but 49 could be separated into 7 and 7. So I can now write the square root of 98 as 2 times 7 times 7. And I look for two numbers that are the same. Those two numbers get crossed out and moved to the front as one number. So my final answer will now be 7 square roots of 2.